We only shop for two people, and somehow it's becoming one of the biggest weekly expenses in our house.
We've officially entered the dark age of self checkout, and here's why. For years, if you ever went to a Walmart, they have hundreds of self checkouts that you can choose from, but now they're making you pay.
Tell me why food is so much cheaper in the UK than in the States. And I don't just mean by a little bit, I mean by quite a significant amount.
Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today let's talk about food shopping. Let's face it, no matter what's happening these days, the cost of food is just rising. People's normal grocery bills are just rising on a weekly basis. Whether you're in the UK or the US or anywhere else, prices are rising. Self-checkouts are disappearing, and even trying to eat healthy just feels like a luxury. So in today's video, I'll be reacting to some real people from real TikToks just trying to do their weekly shopping. Nothing fancy, just honest experiences from real people and what they're dealing with. Let's get into it. So let's start with this one. It's just a lady in the UK who's shopping for herself and her partner. They're trying to keep it under £100 a week, but even that's becoming a challenge. Let's take a look.
Let's talk about weekly food shops because we only shop for two people, and somehow it's becoming one of the biggest weekly expenses in our house. We do try to keep it under £100 a week, but honestly, it is a struggle. And I know that sounds excessive. Maybe we eat a lot, but this shop came to £51.34, which has been the cheapest it's been for a while. But that's only because we've done it for 5 days. We have to feed ourselves from Friday, Saturday, Sunday because we're apart. We've started buying more frozen meat and fruit to try and cut costs, and we mostly shop at Lidl, which is obviously a budget supermarket. But even then, it's so hard to keep the prices down without sacrificing what feels like healthy or different choices. Luckily, today I had a £5 off voucher as well. I don't want to compromise on healthy eating just to save money, but I also don't want to spend £500 a month on food. So please tell me, is this a struggle for you too? How much do you spend each week on food? Any tips, tricks, budget recipes? I don't know. I just feel like we're all trying to figure it out together.
£51 for 5 days, and that's with a £5 off voucher. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? I mean, they're shopping at Lidl, buying frozen food, doing everything right just to save some money, and it's still a stretch. This isn't about overspending. This is about how eating well, even on a budget, is getting harder for everyone, especially if you try not to live off instant noodles. And in my experience, supermarkets like Lidl and Aldi are definitely worth the money. You'll probably find a lot of the items that you normally find in other supermarkets, some of the other bigger chains, a lot cheaper in Aldi and Lidl. Check it out, guys. So let's have a look at some of the comments here then. So someone here saying, my number one is that I never buy meat or fish unless it's reduced. Fair point. I figured out my little reduction time plus go on a specific meat mission for the freezer. Sure. Yeah, it's a pretty good tip there. Someone else is mentioning, I'd really recommend doing a click and collect, but it allows you to see what you're buying. You can plan ahead for the week and you know how much you're spending. That's fair, isn't it, really? If you know exactly what you're spending beforehand, you kind of can budget a bit better as the week goes on. And someone else is saying, buy fresh meat from a Morrison's daily. Sainsbury's local, Tesco Express, etc. It's just asking to spend more because they're always on inflated prices. However, I do agree with everything being insanely priced. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of supermarkets, things like Sainsbury's and similar sort of supermarkets, will normally charge you a lot more. Have any of you guys got any tips on where to shop? Is there any sort of supermarkets or any deals where you think it's worthwhile shopping these guys? Share in the comments below. Now here's a comparison that puts things all into perspective. We've got a lady here that's moved from the US over to the UK, and she's just blown away by the difference in price of average everyday groceries. Let's take a look.
Tell me why food is so much cheaper in the UK than in the States. And I don't just mean by a little bit, I mean by quite a significant amount. In the States, I used to spend about $400 US every week when I did my food shops. A lot. Here in the UK, I spend between 100 and I'll say be generous, 150 at the absolute most. And I don't even think I've ever spent 150.
Oh, $400 a week. I mean, that's around £300, isn't it? UK money per week. Is she trying to say that she spends about 1.2k? a month on groceries in the US. That's insane.
Oh, wait. That is with me buying detergent, fabric softener. Oh, I forgot to buy dishwasher pods. That I didn't buy that today, I forgot. But essentials, especially fruit and vegetables here, are so much cheaper. Bread, so much cheaper. Meats, chicken, it's all cheaper. For example, I bought these baby roses, £2.59. And I know flowers, this huge bag of carrots. Look how many carrots are in there. Think about how much you would pay for this in the States. I paid 69p for this. My bag of parsnips, I paid 55p for. For this pretty large bag of tender stem broccoli, I paid 129. My green beans, I paid 85p. These chicken breasts, 219. Block of cheese, I splurged a bit, but I feel like not bad. I bought a couple other things that weren't food items. I think I bought a couple peptide lip serums that I had seen on Aldi's Instagram that I wanted to get. I got, I'm not going to tell you everything I got, but I got a couple other things, and I spent 70 pounds there. And that's my food shop. So I think I did pretty good compared to what I would have done in the States.
I mean, she was shopping at Aldi, so yes, I imagine food prices are somewhat cheaper there than other supermarkets, number one, and number two, yeah, I'm sure that it's cheaper than other supermarkets in the US. But look, she spent £70 and she walked out with meat, fruit, veg, and even some flowers. That's pretty good, I suppose, isn't it? She said in the US that she'd spend about $400 a week on a shop. I guess that's quite believable. A lot of people say exactly the same thing. So yes, prices are definitely going up here in the UK, but it just shows in comparison that things are probably worse in the US. What do you guys think? Now, alright, this one does sound like a joke, but it's not. Now, self-checkouts was something that we're all sort of forced to get used to, but it's now becoming a paid feature over in the US. Let's take a look.
We've officially entered the dark age of self-checkout, and here's why. For years, if you ever went to a Walmart, they have hundreds of self-checkouts that you can choose from, but now they're making you pay. So instead of
those of you who don't know, Walmart own a certain percentage of Asda here in the UK.
self-checkout being available to all shoppers at Walmart, you now have to be a Walmart Plus member, which if you didn't know is $13 a month. Now you're gonna have to pay a subscription to use self-checkout. But that's not all. Targets across the nation are closing their self-checkout lines and only reopening them during peak hours, and when they are open, you can only use them if you have 10 items or less. And the sad thing is, the main reason they're doing this is to stop shoplifting. There's been huge problems at stores like Walmart and Target where people go and they get a high-value item like a PS5 or a TV. They take a barcode off of something like a banana. They stick it on there, go through self-checkout, boop, walk right out. And it's sad that because of this, we're witnessing the extinction of self-checkout machines. When I go shopping, I don't want to talk to someone. But now at a lot of stores, it seems like you're gonna have to, unless you're willing to shell out $13 a month to pay for a subscription to use self-checkout. This seems like the new future. And it's a future I am not excited for, but that's my opinion.
So it looks like in some US stores like Walmart and Target, they're now charging you a fee just to use a self-checkout service, and that's pretty insane. Now here's where it gets interesting. Walmart still owns about 10% of Asda that we have here in the UK. They sold most of it back in 2021 to some other buyers, but still hold 10% and sit on the board. So even though self-checkout still exists in Asda, if this kind of model expands, it could eventually make its way over here too, especially if theft rises or if store profits fall. So yeah, it does kind of sound far-fetched, but I wouldn't be surprised if one day it starts to manifest here in some of our supermarkets. It just sounds insane to be asked to pay to scan for your own shopping. So drop your comments below. Do you think something like that could find its way over here in the UK? And how would you guys react? So let's have a look at some of the comments, what people thought about this video. We have to pay to scan our products and bag ourselves. They're asking for a new boycott. Definitely sounds like one. I'm going to be honest, it's wrong if people are stealing, but the fact that if they're closing these is awesome. It brings back jobs to people who need them. Well, I guess there's a positive side to things as well, isn't there? My nearest Walmart has only self-checkouts. I wonder what they're going to do. My thoughts are they'll probably open some cash tills again and get some people working in there. And I can't even use Apple Pay, no thanks. In the UK, they just put up a barrier that won't open unless you scan a receipt. Now, the next one is something we just don't talk about enough. It's not just about the food that we're buying, but it's also about the quality of food that we're buying. Let's take a look. I mean, that's a fair question, isn't it, really? If your supermarket has a health food section, what does that make the rest of the store? Unhealthy? And why is it that the food with the least amount of chemicals and fewer ingredients are the ones that usually cost more? It just seems backwards. And when people in the UK and US are being sold foods with chemicals and additives that are banned in other countries, that's a whole different problem. This isn't just a budgeting issue anymore, as it seems. It's also a health issue. What do you guys think about this? Drop your comments below. So let's have a look at some of the comments here, guys. Because the industry doesn't want you healthy, they want you addicted. It is no different than the pharmaceutical industry. I guess there is some sort of relationship there, guys, if you think about it. Someone else is saying here, this is all over the world, unfortunately. I've got no doubt. If it's in the US, the chances are it's everywhere else. Looking for nutritious food. Some of the fresh sections are old and tired looking, like they borrowed the produce. That's a bit of a funny one, isn't it? So yeah, we're not just paying more, we're getting less and being charged more for convenience and even being outpriced out of our own health. So this just isn't about for inflation anymore. This is a complete shift in how we shop, what we eat, and who can afford basic, good quality food. Now I want to hear from you guys. How much is your weekly shop right now? Have you guys noticed a change in quality? Are you guys eating differently because of the cost of food? Drop a comment because I'm genuinely curious. And I'm sure others here will benefit from your comments too. Now, as you know, I'm a new channel. My dream is to hit 10,000 subscribers. Please help me realize that dream and hit the like and subscribe button. And I'll see you guys on the next one.